What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wise Power 400 Top 5 DFS Picks video for Sunday, February 27th at Auto Club Speedway. I'm your host, Chris Pennell. You can find me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16, and this video is presented by PrizePicks. Today, we are going to be going over general track strategy and how to approach the slate from a DFS perspective, and my top 5 favorite DFS plays on the slate. Keep in mind, this video is being recorded pre-qualifying and practice, so some of these things can be changed a little bit, and making sure you're up to date on this information throughout the weekend will be crucial when building fantasy NASCAR lineups this weekend. But if you want more in-depth and up-to-date NASCAR coverage, make sure to check out the Live Before Lock on Sunday, an hour leading you up to lock with me and Jason. You guys can ask all the questions you want. We'll go over the entire slate with all the update information that you guys are probably wanting to have. So when it comes to NASCAR DFS, every single track has a unique strategy to it. Last week at Daytona, it was chaotic. Place differential was super important. There was tons of wrecks and dominator points weren't that important. But don't think that's the norm going into the rest of the season. Most tracks, we're going to care about dominator points. We're going to care about finishing position. Place differential is still going to be important, but guys that can rack up laps and fast laps, which are easily more projectable than a track like Daytona or Talladega, where we were last week, are definitely going to be real important. Auto Club is a 2-mile asphalt track. It's got a very abrasive surface, which means tire wear is going to be an issue this weekend, which does add a bit of a twist to it. And I do think it makes it more entertaining from just a fan perspective as well, let alone for DFS. So looking at other high tire wear venues like Homestead, Atlanta, Darlington are definitely great places to make comparisons to when looking at similar tracks this weekend. And you can also look at Auto Club's sister track, which Phil mentioned in his article, Michigan. It's a low tire wear track, but it's still 2 miles in length. So it is very comparable. And you can also expand this to other 1.5-mile tracks as well. And also, unlike last week, which I kind of hinted at before, dominator points are going to be very, very important. Last week, we did not care about them whatsoever. But making sure you grab 1 to 2, maybe even 3 in some lineups this weekend is definitely going to be important if you're looking to take down tournaments this weekend. So getting into the picks, starting with number 5, we have Daniel Suarez at $6,100 on DraftKings and $4,500 on FanDuel. Now, I'll tell you right now, it is never fun hyping up Daniel Suarez, but both sites are basically forcing our hands here this weekend with this super low pricing. He is priced at the very bottom of the barrel. We've seen a couple times last season where he's in the 7K range, so nearly kind of inching towards the 5K range is an absolute steal, especially if he starts in the mid-pack or even further back if he offers us some place differential. But Suarez was a top 20 contender and sometimes even a top 15 guy last season at the high tire wear intermediate tracks. And the real catch here is that he is around $2,000 to $3,000 cheaper than his teammate Ross Chastain. Not saying he's good of a driver as Ross Chastain, but when you're in the same exact equipment and $2,000 to $3,000 cheaper where you should be finishing somewhat close to each other, that is an absolute steal this weekend to fit in some extra dominators in your lineups. And moving on to number 4, we have Dillon at $7,800 on DraftKings and $7,000 on FanDuel. And AD has kind of been a staple for me anytime we head to this certain track type, as he is a top 20 machine with top 15 upside each and every single time, and also a little bit of top 10 upside when he has a good day. But he has a strong record at Auto Club, which we haven't raced at since 2020, but it is still something to note. And his only non-top 20 finish last year at large ovals was at Michigan, where he wrecked out. So his track record was excellent last season. It was good the year before that. And assuming all goes well and he has no mechanical issues, this should be a guy that we have top 15 upside most weeks. And for number 3, we have Tyler Reddick at $8,400 on DraftKings and $9,500 on FanDuel. It's a little bit pricier over on FanDuel, but I do think he is worth it this weekend with the ceiling that he offers us. And if we like Dillon, his teammate, the guy we just got done talking about, it would only make sense for us to like Reddick as well. The thing with RCR is that they tend to be very strong at these track types, and Reddick is one of the most talented drivers in the field. And since we don't know a lot about this car yet, and it's the first time we're actually at a large oval and not a super speedway or the Clash in this car, I think betting on talent is something that would probably be beneficial to us earlier in the season. He also has a higher ceiling than Dillon most weeks, as he can always be a potential fast laps guy, which we've seen many times in the past. And he always is a dark horse to win a race and lead laps. And he is excellent at some of these similar tracks. He's very good at Homestead Miami Speedway, actually one of the best drivers, even when he was a rookie in the Cup Series. This guy was nearly contending for wins with RCR, which is not top tier equipment, but he definitely outperforms his equipment most weeks. And before we head into our next pick, I want to talk about our sponsor, PrizePicks. They offer a daily prop-based contest, and make sure you use code Awesemo for a $100 first match deposit bonus. There's no sharks, optimizers, or mass entries. 5-player lineups can add up to 10 times your entry fee. Use your knowledge of multiple sports with cross-sport entries. Download in the App Store, on Google Play, or play on PrizePicks.com. Use our free player props tool to help you make the best selections. Get 1 free month of Awesemo plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit at PrizePicks. You'll receive an email within 24 to 48 hours after to redeem your first free month of Awesemo plus Platinum. All right, so coming in at number 2, getting into the potential downers here, because we are going to need a couple in our lineups this weekend. We have Kyle Busch at $10,400, which is a little bit cheap on DraftKings, and $13,000 over on FanDuel. And Busch did kind of return back to form a bit last year as he was able to put together very strong finishes throughout the season, especially at these track types. He was excellent at the large ovals last season. But what was missing was the overly dominant races that he's had in the past, where he's leading a large chunk of the race. There was a couple of races where he was able to get out front, lead some laps, and he was able to win one race last season at this track type. But the addition of practice coming back is huge for Busch this season. He's the kind of guy that really benefits from on-track time, and it definitely gives me more confidence in him this season. He's also been arguably the best driver out of club the past couple of years. And finally, for my number 1 DFS play for the Wise Power 400, it's no other than the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion, Kyle Larson. He's the most expensive driver on both sites this weekend, 11.6 on DraftKings, and all the way up to $14,000 over on FanDuel. But he proved to be worth the hefty price tag all last season, as he had one of the better NASCAR seasons to remember. Starting position is huge here, and if he starts up front, he will be in a prime position to dominate. He did start up front a couple of seasons ago, and he led over 100 laps in that race. Auto Club's a track where at Daytona, you were able to move through the field quite easily. Auto Club, probably not going to be the case much. Most of the positions gained are going to be on pit road or restart, so having good track position to start is definitely a big boost to you in your potential to lead laps and dominate. So that's something to keep an eye on where Kyle Larson does qualify on Sunday. But if he's anywhere near the front, he is going to be the main dominator threat in the entire field. And there's a reason he's the clear betting favorite right now, as he is obviously the most talented driver in the field. And that's something I talked about with Reddick, where I want to bet on talent early on. And just coming into the season, there's no reason to believe that he can't do what he did last year. So to recap, we have 5 Daniel Suarez, 4 Austin Dillon, 3 Tyler Reddick, 2 Kyle Busch, number 1 Kyle Larson. So those are my top 5 DFS picks this weekend. If you agree or disagree, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on who are your 5 favorite picks heading into this weekend. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe on the channel. It really does help us out. We do appreciate it. And if you have any more questions heading into the weekend, and if you want to know my post thoughts after qualifying and practice, make sure you head over to the Live Before Lock on Sunday, where me and Jason will be answering all your questions and breaking down the slate over on DraftKings and FanDuel.